What's up, guys, and welcome back to the JDL Season 10. This is going to be the last game for Fantastic 5. I think for 4V+D, they actually didn't look to see if it's their last game, but it doesn't really matter because they're not really near the top of Fantastic 5. If they have this win, they will be still in playoff contention, but we've got ourselves a game. I don't know how 4 Vikings and a Dane turns into Arab Dota. What the hell happened there? Now, I know there's something going on in the EU. Lots of, immigrants, refugees, whatever, moving around. But I didn't realize it was going to be impacting my Dota. Oh my god, guys. What's going on? Either way, I mean, yeah, it should still be Fantastic 5 with quite a large edge, around the same odds as the other game of Fantastic 5 going up against Yellow Submarine. So we'll see if 4V+D or Arab Dota are able to put up a much better fight than Yellow Submarine, because last game wasn't really all that close. I'm Mike Loris, going to be your caster for this game, the last game of the day. Got a couple more games from the other regions, I believe, a little bit later, but oh man, this is going to be a little bit dangerous right off the bat for Fantastic 5. They grabbed the Oracle and the Drow Ranger. Now, just going in blind, this is a pretty good opening to have versus anyone, right? Like Oracle, Drow Ranger work very, very well with one another because it keeps the Drow Ranger alive, keeps her firing, and of course Oracle is also a range hero. So in the early stages, when you're poking and prodding, or when you're actually looking for kills, an additional like +8 damage, something like that, can do very, very high amounts of work. But specifically versus Batrider, it gets even better. Now, Batrider is usually picked up as a reasonable response to a Drow Ranger. Just getting on top of her, getting the initiation off, usually works pretty darn well. Not really the case when you're going up against an Oracle. False Promise will immediately take off that lasso, and even afterwards, the Edict can situationally protect Drow Ranger from any damage over time effects as needed. Of course, you won't expect it to be always needed, but who knows. So, yeah, I mean, this Batrider is a pretty reasonable opening. I do think this is a decent way to open up most of your drafts just by first picking the Batrider, just because now they have initiation. They'll be able to come back from pretty large deficits just by virtue of being able to start off fights. You have to make sure that you ban out the Drow Ranger, though, in this patch, because it does seem like she is just an absolute menace. And Oracle, of course, I mean, along with the Vengeful Spirit, who is still actually a pretty decent pick for Fantastic 5, just destroyed the Batrider's initiation. So things got a lot more awkward here for 4V+D, or Arab Dota. Again, this is like the exact opposite of what I would expect from 4 Vikings and a Dane. Come on, guys. Either way, Winter Wyvern the pick here for the Radiant side is a pretty good hero to have up against a Drow Ranger comp. If you are able to catch her with the curse, you could actually, kill her off pretty quickly because her allies still get all that bonus damage. Alternatively, just, catch one of her allies, and then usually Drow Ranger kills them off pretty darn quickly. So yeah, it is a pretty decent hero to have, but it kind of as a response to the Drow Ranger. As far as handling a Drow Ranger, you usually want to be a little bit more assertive. You usually want to be able to be the ones pressuring her in lane, make her work for that farm. So we're going to see Broodmother banned out. It's another one of those heroes that is picked up very, very frequently when dealing with, or when you're trying to deal with a Drow Ranger. In lane, she is absolutely massacred by Broodmother. It's not even that close. So Fantastic 5 will have to try to be a little more cautious around those type of heroes. The heroes that just get in really quickly and punish the Drow Ranger. But for Arab Dota right now, they don't really have any of those heroes. Batrider is a good start, but it kind of starts the fight, doesn't really end the fight. Tinker going to be banned out. That's another interesting one. I mean, Laser, of course, is really crippling versus the Drow Ranger. Outside of that, Mirana, Nature's Prophet, all going to hit the bin. Yeah, I mean, all these range heroes, these kind of snowball-y range heroes, being banned out for 4V+D. Can't really blame him for that, but of course, you can't ban them all. I'm going to say Puck, going to say Invoker, another big one that you can pretty reliably go for most of the time. Fantastic 5, they can bust up your high ground mighty quickly. It really just isn't close at all. Like, if they want to go up your high ground, they'll definitely be able to go up your high ground. So Arab Dota, they have to try to keep them out of it, right? They have to be able to find those pickoffs. Batrider is a pretty good start, but I feel like if they get another kind of pickoff oriented hero, usually Slark is a pretty reasonable hero to go for in that regard, and they'll be in a much better game state. Just keeping their high ground safe just by playing aggressively, keeping Fantastic Five fighting on, maybe not even on their side of the map, but just like in the middle of the map, as opposed to under the Radiant Towers. This is also what Fantastic Five like to do. Like, they just are a Drow Ranger team. They have been for a very long time, even before she's taken up like all this popularity. So yeah, they're doubly comfortable with this. And hell, depending on these picks from 4V+D, Fantastic Five still may be able to slow this down a little bit. Just pick up a couple melee heroes. Beastmaster, usually pretty reasonable in that regard. Or Tidehunter as well. Just a bulky front line for the Drow Ranger. With the Ricky pick, though, the Tidehunter gets a little bit worse. So Fantastic Five are going to decide on a Spirit Breaker instead. Definitely an interesting opening here from Fantastic Five. So Spirit Breaker is kind of like that hero that's going to be roaming around and, you know, playing aggressively versus to get the Drow Ranger a little bit of space, kind of Ricky-esque. That being said, Spirit Breaker is kind of an awkward hero. I mean, I guess you can run down Ricky. Winter Wyvern doesn't have many responses, and you'll be able to chase both of these flyers over the cliffs and whatnot, which is kind of sweet. But you know, it's not really going to be a huge space creator for the Drow Ranger unless you have an absolutely perfect position in those engagements. Like, you got to charge through a couple heroes, so he's not really going to be a huge defensive hero for the Drow. You know, even with that, though, Fantastic Five, they just have so much initiative on their side. They won't really be able to be dislodged from this. A DK pick? Oh, I do not like this at all. I mean, the matchup versus Puck is usually going to be fairly reasonable, right? So they have that going for them, I suppose. Ricky also roaming in for a Puck kill means that you can maybe kill off Puck a handful of times. But outside of that, DK does not really fare well if he's not able to play aggressively. And just like inherently, they don't really have the type of draft that can get aggressive over Fantastic Five. Like Puck, yeah, may have a bad matchup versus the DK and the Ricky. But with the Spirit Breaker on the Puck side, things get a lot more even. And of course an Oracle mixed in there as well, so this is going to be a really hard game for the DK. Now, if he is able to get a really good laning phase, which again, I don't expect to be happening, but if it's going to happen, then being able to pressure the Drow Rangers by taking the fights on her own side of the map is something that DK can do very well, just by forcing out Dragon Form. But the issue is that Dragon Form is, though powerful, not going to be powerful enough to let you sit there and trade hits with the Drow Ranger. That's just not going to happen. So they really do need some other aggressively slanted hero to try to lock down the early game. Coming from the safe lane, though, those heroes are few and far between. Whereas for Fantastic Five, as far as their last pick is concerned, just going to be looking for most likely that off-lane hero. Their damage isn't really all that high. Like Puck, Oracle, they have magic, but they don't really deal that many right clicks. Maybe a little more of a right clicker for that off-lane. Disruptor is going to be banned out. They're expecting Spirit Breaker off-lane. Although I do think they could run some pretty aggressive dual lanes here at Fantastic Five. Oracle Drow can probably lock out the Bat Rider pretty easily. So grabbing something like a Lich here for Fantastic Five, though maybe a little bit more defensive than Drow Ranger comps usually would allow, can really, really shut down JoinDota, like completely crush them in lane. So I wouldn't really be too surprised if they go for kind of that route. Oh man, definitely go for the Lich now. A Spectre? I mean, Spectre's great up against Drow Ranger in the mid-late game. Early on, though, like, you can haunt onto the Drow Ranger, you can't kill her, you just don't have the damage to do so. And we have an Abaddon for Fantastic Five instead. Isn't a dual lane Abaddon Spirit Breaker? Is that, I mean, Abaddon offlane, kind of Spirit Breaker, focusing on that offlane as well. It is going to be Mag handling the Abaddon. So, yeah, I mean, this is... JoinDota's draft is a draft that can work if you aren't going up against Drow Ranger, if you don't expect to be pressured, if the enemy team has picked up an anti-mage, then it gets a little bit more even. Given the draft of Fantastic Five, this is, I don't think, a draft time for JoinDota. Despite how good Spectre is versus Drow Ranger, she has to deal with so much pressure early on. I mean, haunt kills can get them pretty far ahead if they're able to consistently find Illidan. I'm not really sure how possible that is, however. Especially now that you have Abaddon and Oracle, both of whom can cover for the Drow Ranger versus the Bat Rider versus any other disables. Like, they just have so many defensive tools. Again, the downside for Fantastic Five's draft is that their damage output isn't really going to be the highest, right? Like, they only have they have 2 melee heroes. Although with no Ricky on the other side, gets a lot easier, let me tell you. Just kidding. But yeah, the Spirit Breaker doesn't really do a hell of a lot of damage. He's more so disruption than anything else. Baden does very little damage, so he can't really do a hell of a lot. He does have the Curse of Avernus, which is definitely an underrated spell. It can only situationally do a lot, however, as you know, it will require him to be in the thick of things, and he needs to be attacking relevant targets. At the same time, Drow Ranger needs to be attacking those same relevant targets. A lot of things have to go right for the spell to be insane, but it can situationally be insane. Especially if you're looking towards like Roshan or something like that. Curse of Avernus is redonkulous. So yeah, they are a little bit low on damage, F5. But that can very easily be overcome by just having a good early laning stage. And just mechanically, I would say F5 are probably superior to their Arab Dota opponents. Like, Illidan's been around the block. Everyone on Fantastic Five has been around the block. Mag, of course, is a stone cold veteran. I don't really know if I've seen him on Abaddon, though. That may be the only weakness here, if anything, for Fantastic Five, is that they're not comfortable with this kind of setup. But I'm pretty sure he's able to play Abaddon here. It's not that hard, honestly. Like, even I can play Abaddon. And I'm terrible at this hero. I'm always like, alright, let's just shield and coil. Oh, he's already dead. And now I'm dead too because I tried to go in and save my dumbass allies. Feels bad, man. It's not that hard, honestly. Especially when you have Yol with you. Like, just starting those charges early on with the shield, it is pretty darn obnoxious. Maybe not quite as obnoxious as going for like a Darkseer, who I think was still in the pool. But, I mean, it can still get the job done, especially when you're going into someone like a Spectre. Gotta turn and fight there as a Spectre, and looking at Spirit Breaker's base stats, no real hero can actually sit back and fight a Spirit Breaker. Way too much armor, way too much health, way too much damage. So we'll see if Arab Dota are actually able to get a little bit of a lead here in this early stage. Picking off a Courier would certainly be a nice start. It is coming out with a Salve, and Archipelago. I don't actually know who this is. I think he's just Archipelago, is looking for the intercept, but F5, they're keen to this. Haven't seen the Ricky just yet, so they're going to play it a little bit slower. They don't need the salve right now either, so you have all day to get the salve out. And it is going to be, can I say an aggressive dual lane? I'm just going to say a dual lane going down towards bot. Winter Wyvern, by the way, looks really nice right now with these wings. Nice and shiny. We got a dual bruiser lane going up against the Spectre. Expect to have a lot of traded right clicks. And in this lane, it's pretty much all about the focus fire, all about the bashes, which Yol's going to draw one. They do have the shield. Mag is going to pop him on himself. 5 taking a lot of damage right now. Yol is unable to get close enough. That's the issue with these two melee heroes. In a brawl, they're fine, but once they are going to start to get kited, they never really stop getting kited. And now they're just going to get slowly chipped away. Creep damage is adding up here, plus the right clicks from the Winter Wyvern. Mag's going to shield himself one more time. He's going to go right back into the thick of things. Archipelago is not really healthy enough to go back into this. Mag's shield will deteriorate, but this gets so much easier once Yol gets level 2 and or boots or windlaces. If he gets that, then he'll be able to stick onto his targets a little bit more effectively, and he won't have to rely only on these bashes in order to get these kills. They are still just, though, trading right clicks fairly evenly over in this bottom lane. Over towards mid lane in the meantime, BZZ not having a great opening start versus Kaka. No, it's not that Kaka, guys. At least I am 90% sure. I'm like 99% sure, actually, it is not the same guy. But he will have to deal with the Breathe Fire. He will have to deal with just bad matchups going up against Dragon Blood as kind of a low, or kind of like a weaker damage hero. He's not really able to apply the screws to the Dragon Knight all that much burst-wise. The sustain from the Dragon Blood is usually just enough versus the Puck, who is obviously on for the 1-point phase shift, but Orb doesn't really do an incredible amount of damage, and though your right clicks will hurt a little bit more, thanks to the Drow Ranger, it's not going to be the end-all. Archipelago is going to get charged down towards bottom. That's not a charge that Yol wants to complete, so he won't. Up towards top lane in the meantime, Illidan plus Armen, they're going up against nobody. Looks like the Bat Rider actually was forced to teleport out of there. Maui's going to be slowed down at least slightly in this early start, but again, this Bat Rider can't really apply all that much pressure to the Drow Ranger CS-wise. He's getting a decent amount himself, I would imagine. Yeah, level 3 is pretty good. But you won't be able to stop the Drow Ranger from farming. You won't be able to stop her from getting experience. So she is going to be getting that extra damage, at least for the mid lane puck. This bottom lane, though, is extremely delicate here for F5. They're going to be able to learn to charge through. Connect down to Sedge. Has an embrace for himself. He'll get a lot of HP back from that one. Now you'll hit with the dagger. Take a couple of right clicks on his way out. Mag, Curse of Avernus, going to try to slow the enemies down as much as he can. Plus the shield into Yol will keep him alive. But this dual lane for F5 is not one where they can really assert dominance. Mostly because they're reliant on bashes. Like, the charge is nice to start the fights, but then that target immediately gets embraced. So this Spectre, yeah, maybe will be struggling to last hit going up against this much, just this much shit in the lane. But she's still going to be able to get her gold up enough. And getting a little bit of experience cut because of the full tri-lane is going to hurt quite a bit. It's still going to be reasonable for AbDota. You want to get to this haunt ASAP so you can start getting some kills in the Drow Ranger. Kills without haunt are going to be very, very difficult for AbDota. It looks like mechanically, though, I mean, the DK is doing slightly better than BZZ, who has been struggling in this mid lane today. Drow Ranger, though, Illidan. He's a stone cold Drow Ranger. He doesn't give a damn. Charge down towards bottom lane. 5 does have a shield nearby, plus they get the smoke screen, plus the burn here from Sedge. So this is like the really awkward part. F5, they can't really do anything offensively here anymore. And a charge at Archipelago. He doesn't have a blink strike. He's going to drop a smoke screen. They're expecting the blink strike potentially. Oh, but they draw first blood elsewhere. They found Kaka. Still, this fight is drawing onwards. It's not going to be able enough to get the kills. Ricky's dust is going to wear off of him. They're going to charge in for more. Actually, 5 is fairly weak here. Yol, though, would need a bash to get this kill. If not 2. Doesn't get any. Maui now going around. Where are you going, Yol? Oh, for the shield kill. Got the kill on the Spectre. Will lose his life for it, but totally worth it. 9 stick charges. I don't think would have saved him. Over towards mid lane, though, it seems like they were able to get the rotation in onto Kaka. Coil was not even used there. I do not know what happened, guys. My bad for missing it. But at least I have an excuse. Dropping the DK is going to get this puck right back in CS-wise. And, of course, with the Oracle hanging around, not needed because of the lack of bat right up towards top lane, they can apply that much more pressure to the DK, especially now that he has his Coil. Wyvern's going to drop the Abaddon elsewhere. They're going to start fighting over Kaka, though. Coil going to drop onto 2 heroes. They're going to burn down the Ricky immediately with Purifying Flames. Now Kaka is going to have to be forced to fight. They look for the Courier Snipe. That's not going to happen. Also does have his range drop, which is going to drop to hold the charges. Did you see that, guys? That was pretty sick. He knew the False Promise was coming, so he dropped the range drop because he knew that he was just going to bottle it out anyway. So he has one more charge now. Not sure if it's going to matter because he's going to get jumped nonetheless. Charges are going to be burned through, orb through. Plus the stop. Kaka's going to get right click down. Does pop the dragon form. Needs a bash to get this kill or Purifying Flames in the smoke screen, though they don't have enough mana. And now Yol's in a lot of trouble. Hit with the smoke screen. Firefly overhead. There's only a couple right clicks. He will be able to charge out of there, though. Now Batrider's going to try to rush down BZZ. That's not going to be enough damage. BZZ has a phase shift south. He's going to salve a little bit more. Archipelago now in tower range. Can't get the kill. Right click turnaround. He'll lose his life. Oh no, AbDota getting outplayed by F5. As Yol's also able to make it out of there. That was a very low mana engagement from F5. Puck completely dry by the end of it. Our men with no mana. A Purifying Flames could have gotten them some easy kills there. But at the end of the day, it is still F5 to accrue an advantage over mid lane kill-wise. And the net worth-wise is starting to roll in. I mean, the Drow Ranger is feeling pretty good for herself up towards top lane. Level 6 already. Precision Aura activated. Doesn't really do a hell of a lot except for the range creeps. Huh, do you preserve Dragon Form now that you die? Did they change that? Towards bottom lane, though. 5 gonna get orbed in on. There is still oh, no Embrace, actually. Splinter Blast now finally an Embrace. But it seems like it may be too late. 5 still taking a lot of damage regardless. Because of the bashes, they focus on the Winter Wyvern instead. And now onto 5 they're gonna go. Smoke Screen is way too late. They actually dust up Archipelago. Mag taking the towers, getting restored quite a bit of HP. Orb through, silence as well. Beat down, Ricky down. Triple kill for BZZ. 4-0-3. This puck is going to be a monster. Oh boy, this is looking like a repeat of the first game of the day, guys. F5 are getting themselves off to a start, but unlike the first game of the day, this start perhaps isn't as large. They have a Drow Ranger though, so they can capitalize on it that much harder. They're still not done yet. Mag is still sticking around here. Doesn't even have borrowed time. They're going to charge into 5 regardless. Smoke Screen goes up, stopping BZZ's spell cast. Still Archipelago 5 cannot kill off Yol without more help. More right clicks. The shield does go up. Archipelago now in a little bit of trouble. They will stun up Mag. No borrowed time, but they'll lose the Riki immediately afterwards. Yol now going to charge his way through onto everyone and actually get himself out to safety. That was a beautiful charge from Yol. Poison should not take him down. Not enough DPS. He sticks up. That was a charge, guys. That was some charge. Landing onto 3 heroes, keeping himself safe, keeping Mag safe as well. The small stun duration. Absolutely beautiful. Unfortunately, Illidan's going to get killed by Maui. That somehow happened. So I'm not really sure how that happens, but Illidan is going to die. So for Arab Dota, this is, you know, again, probably the best case scenario. Killing off the Drow Ranger in the background is quite nice. But they have so much shit to deal with elsewhere. Like, BZZ is going to have an incredibly fast Veil, I would imagine, to apply that much more damage and pressure. And the Drow Ranger is still farming very well despite her death. Actually gone for a Quelling Blade. Doesn't really do a ton of her. I think it's probably for, like, creep efficiency. I mean, just jungling. I'm not really sure if this is... Are there any, like... I mean, you don't really need to, like, abuse choke points as the Drow Ranger or anything like that. So cutting down trees, I'm not really sure is incredibly useful. The extra damage it pales in comparison to what you get from just like another agility item for the team. Not really sure about this one. She has so much gold, it doesn't really matter all that much. Yol gonna start charging in towards Kaka, none too healthy to start things out. Has no backup in the area, though Yol is gonna fall back. Doesn't have his Nether Strike, not really close to it either. If he had Nether Strike, then maybe you go for that. Does seem like Illidan just wants the additional bump of damage. Are there really any non-hero units? No, there's none. Oh, I don't know about that, guys. Well, either way, it is still F5 to have a 6-kill lead. Not a bad start. Drow Ranger comp hasn't even fully kicked in yet. And they are still doing quite a bit of damage, plus 38, but it's only onto a handful of heroes. Oracle, Puck, Drow. The other two obviously not getting that much benefit from it. But still, I don't think the game plan is going to change regardless of that fact. Looking for a fight over in this mid lane. They are going to find Archipelago. Oh, that's actually a Radiant Sentry. They're going to stop Kaka right now. Coil lands onto 2 heroes. Orb through onto those same 2. BZ in a little bit of trouble right now. Stuck in the smoke. But will get with False Promise. And should be able to drop at least a spell before he dies here. He has no escape route. He has an orb out. Maybe Mag going to arrive. Give him a little bit more juice. Orb out from BZZ. Still being focused down. Smoke screen prevent the Johnson. He will go down. But at what cost? Mag going to try to go for Kaka. Not the right target. Now here comes Illidan. Will burn down the Bat Rider with the help of RMN. Now going to start to change focus onto 5 and the Riki at the same time. They grab a double kill for Illidan. And Yol's still in the mix. Charge into Sedge. He's going to be slowed down. Bashed up as well. Needs one more. Although with an Embrace, I'm not sure if he's going anywhere. Curse of Avernus now going to kick in. You can't leave Winter Wyvern. There's no escape for you. I'm not really sure about that focus on the DK in the middle of that one from Mag. They do lose their Puck, which is a very, very high cost, but ooh, they may get the full 5-man wipe, actually. Yol's going to go in for top lane. Has another strike. Kaka is a Dragon Tails. Try to slow him down. Another strike. It's good. And Illidan, now with the right clicks, is going to do the damage kill off Kaka. Orb flying through. A little bit too late. Illidan will grab the kill. Yol's doing some serious work here. And of course, Illidan joining that fray. 100, almost 200 damage a pop. Doing quite a number there in Arab Dota, who just went a little bit too far. Gotta expect that Illidan's gonna be there. They did handle the Puck pretty darn well, though. Just kept her in the smoke screen as long as they could. Focused her down, but you know, with the Oracle there, with Mag there, the defensive power of F5 showing itself, not on the Drow Ranger, but on the Puck, either way. Still gonna be good enough. And now the Puck's gonna have his first big item flying out to him. I'd imagine again the Veil. There it is. Archipelago can't snipe the courier either. He's just stalking the Puck. I guess he knows about the Veil, but you don't really play around Veil. Like, you play around Veil the same way you play around the Puck, just by not being in a close range. Oh, Puck's gonna waste his orb in, though. Is now gonna get last, so they do see everyone. Charge is gonna be there. BZ's still in a lot of trouble. Will Coil, phase shift, still dead, though. False Promise, a little bit too late. Maui, though, gonna get a little bit too far ahead of his teammates. They're gonna try to go for Illidan, but that's not enough, as Armen just burns them down. Illidan has a wolf behind him. They cannot go for anything else. And F5 don't even have Mag here. That's a scary thing. Archipelago isn't dusted up, so he is going to just be providing more vision here. They do make a 1-for-1 trade, a pretty good 1-for-1 trade off after all is said and done. As the Puck did not expect that many heroes to be there. F5, their vision is lacking to say the least. They have literally no observers up? That's pretty crazy. I mean, Oracle has his eyes set on some pretty fat items. It's got drums, power treads already, which is ridiculous for an Oracle. He's third place in net worth because he's getting so many kills. So yeah, I mean, maybe he's just getting to a point where he's like, I'm wealthy. I don't have to buy vision. Vision is for scrubs. I'm just going to get mechanism for the team. Yo, of course, I mean, Spirit Breaker doesn't really want to be buying items, buying wards either, but I think he has to. Someone has to, right? Oracle is going to be pretty hard to deal with. I mean, drums isn't really a huge item. Mechanism is, though. Drums is nice to have, but it's not really going to be a huge swing item, although having an extra set of drums on a quote-unquote support hero, that may just make the difference. Sentries go down, they'll start on Roche. Here's where Curse of Avernus and just raw drow damage output is really going to shine. Curse of Avernus, 16 attack speed. They do find Archipelago. Walking into the Sentry, not a good plan, dude. So yeah, lots of attack speed bonus here. As if they didn't have enough damage already. Roshan probably going to give up the double life to Illidan. So now with the double life, I mean, that's of course nice for the Drow Ranger, but perhaps more importantly, they got a kill on Maui. He has no escape from this one. He can't leave the coil. He's just going to get killed off here. Oracle's going to grab another kill for himself. Okay, that's not the point I was going to make, but, I mean, sure enough, the point still stands. They do get the kill, after all, on the Batrider. Illidan said on his stream it's rather a good idea to take Quelling Blade on such heroes because of their big number of agility. He sold it immediately. He's going up against a lane where there are no opponents, so it's just for jungle clearing efficiency, in which case I think building up your regular items to help your teammates out is probably just better. I can understand the reasoning, like you have so much base damage, you get a lot more percentage bonus from it, but it's just not the best item to have. I'm gonna stick by that one. There's no reason. If he had a lane where he was actually contested, like if he actually was up against a Darkseer or something like that, I can understand. But he wasn't. He was up against literally no one. He doesn't need that damage for light right-clicking. But the Aegis point I was going to make now, not only Illidan can play more aggressively, but also Aramen and Mag can focus more on keeping BZZ alive, knowing that Illidan, just by himself, will be doing just fine. They'll heal him up, sure, but save the false promise for a different hero. Illidan will chip down the tower. Now he's going to poke up the high ground. If they had an observer, this would be so much more useful. Illidan is getting a little bit too close. They do want to save the Alpha Wolf. Kaka's gonna pop his dragon form, immediately gusted away, taking a lot of damage. Coil now onto 2. Kaka's in a lot of trouble. The Embrace will save him. There's no initiation though. They'll lose the DK as the Batrider's stuck in the coil. Has a chance to lasso Mag, but to what end? Mag's gonna just borrowed some time. Get out of there. Puck gonna get worked down by the allies. As Winter Wyvern's gonna get a kill for Abdota. Quite a nice one at that on the Puck. But now all the focus can be helped towards the Drow Ranger, towards Yul. Focus down the Raxes. They have a mechanism on the Oracle of all heroes. He has more farm than the Abaddon off lane. They're going to jump in for the Oracle, but he has a mechanism. He's so tanky. Charge through onto 3 with a gust onto 4. Is going to kill off the Ricky. Now focusing down onto the Spectre. Can't even get to the trees. As Sedge can do nothing but watch his allies die. 16 minutes in. Rax is down. As F5, they massacre Abdota in the meantime. They still have their Aegis. They still have their freaking Alpha Wolf. And look at that, the Puck's going to be alive in just a handful of seconds. Even Aramen sticking around for the random building. It's a good 100-something gold. What's his next item? Oh my god. This is going to skyrocket the win rate for Dragonlance Oracle, boys. This is going to be insane. Now, first of all, Oracle win rate with, like, drums should be pretty high, because they never buy drums, so that when they do, it's in games like these. But Dragonlance I've never seen. He already has some of the largest range in Dota. 620 is very, very high. But now it's going to be even higher. Like, with the plus 31 damage, it's actually like a reasonable amount of damage output coming out from Aramen. No joke. I don't know what 5 is doing. What are you doing, bro? He's going to get hit with the Embrace, so he's not going to die just yet. They're trying to focus down to the Oracle, but he's so tanky. And now here comes the 3-man coil. Haunt is finally going to be used, but it's way too late. Buybacks from everyone. They'll focus down Kaka. Everyone at 5 still very healthy. False Promise on Aramen's going to keep him swinging also. They'll take down the Spectre in like a 6-0, 7-0. Oh, it's going to be even worse than that. Maui's going to drop, and Sedge also. Is that a full 10-0? Oh, fight recap, please. I think, oh, buybacks. I can't watch buybacks either. Fight recap. No, that was an 8-0, guys. They got 8 kills without losing Aegis. That's how far ahead F5 were. 17 minutes in, gonna save us all some time so we can go on with our day. What a brutal massacre. F5 still in Division 1. I think they've just locked in their spot for that. They're going to be feeling pretty good as far as that is concerned. But guys, I'm done for the day. I'm Mike Loris. It's been a pleasure casting these games for you guys. If you enjoyed the games, be sure to hit that follow button. Follow me on Twitter as well, at Mike Loris. Congratulations, Fantastic 5. 2 very clean games. Now, 7-4. They're not guaranteed. Oh, no. They are guaranteed the finals, I think. Probably. Maybe. Who knows? But either way, they're still doing pretty well. So yeah, for 4V+D, they are Division 1-2 playoffs, I think. Or Division 2 straight up. No. Division 1-2 playoffs. So they're not out of Division 1, but their team is... They just fell apart. Like, so many stand-ins. I'll see you guys next time. Hope you guys enjoyed the games. GG.